Ever share something personal at work and then, kind of hold your breath, hoping it doesn't change things?
Oh, totally.
It's even tougher when that something is an autism diagnosis. And for one of our listeners, well, that worry became very real. So today, we're diving into navigating employment after disclosing your autism diagnosis, what to do from Cheap ABA. We want to give you a clear picture of your rights if things get, well, tricky.
Because the workplace should be a space of respect for everyone, and that includes individuals with autism. And that's where legal frameworks like the ADA come in.
The Americans with Disabilities Act, right?
Exactly.
And what I find interesting is this article jumps right into those legal protections. It's not just about feeling treated unfairly. It's about actual rights under the ADA.
Absolutely. And one of the most crucial but sometimes misunderstood aspects of the ADA is this idea of reasonable accommodation. We hear about flexible hours, but it's so much more than that, especially for someone on the spectrum.
Okay, so let's break that down. Reasonable accommodation. What does that actually look like in practice, beyond just like scheduling stuff?
Think about it.
Hmm.
You have an employee who's really sensitive to sensory overload, like a busy office. Reasonable accommodation could be noise-canceling headphones, or maybe working from a quieter spot when they need to, or someone who needs really clear communication. Give them instructions in writing. Don't just tell them verbally. It's about bridging that gap.
Makes sense. And that brings to mind something else the article really stresses, documentation. They are big on keeping detailed records. Why is that so crucial, especially if, things go legal?
Documentation is like your proof. If you need to show a pattern of behavior or that you ask for certain accommodations, those records are everything. Protects you from he said, she said, and if you need a lawyer or have to file a claim, you've got backup.
So keep those receipts, basically. You got your proof.
Yeah, it's like having that paper trail, right?
Right.
But let's talk about the elephant in the room, termination. Tough topic, but a reality for some. If it gets to that point, what's the advice?
Well, from what I got from the article, it's not about like panicking and making a rash decision. It's about being strategic.
Right. You got to know your rights and what to do.
Yeah.
And the article breaks it down into steps.
Yeah, it seemed pretty clear, actually.
First, know your company's policies. Like, what does it say about termination, especially when it comes to disability accommodations?
Makes sense. Cover your bases.
Exactly. And then talk to someone, HR, supervisor. But make sure it's documented that you're trying to work things out.
Oh, so that documentation thing again.
It all ties together. But also, and this is key, the article really emphasizes getting outside support.
Okay, yeah, that support system makes a huge difference.
Huge. And they specifically mention autism-specific groups. Not just general career advice, but groups that really get it.
Why is that so important? Wouldn't just, general advice about unfair dismissal and stuff apply?
Because it's not just about knowing the law broadly. It's knowing how it applies to autism in the workplace, which can get very specific. I've actually seen how much of a difference that kind of specialized support can make. Oh, yeah. Had this one case, got to keep it broad, confidentiality, but basically, someone got let go not long after disclosing their diagnosis. They were lost, didn't know what to do. But then they found this autism employment advocacy group. Total game changer.
Wow. What did the group do?
Helped them understand their rights under the ADA, specifically how it applied to them, and even got them legal representation for a mediation with their old employer.
That's incredible, like having someone in their corner who actually gets it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they ended up negotiating a severance package so they could move on financially okay and find a better workplace eventually. That's the power of the right support.
So support is key, but then the article mentions if you have to going even further, like the EEOC or a labor board. Sounds kind of scary, to be honest. When is it really necessary to go that far?
Yeah, those are big steps, and nobody wants to jump into that. But it's good to know they're there.
So the EEOC, that's for what? Like when discriminations happened?
The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. And yeah, they're there to protect employees from unfair treatment. It's not about getting anyone in trouble, but making sure the law is followed, especially when other things haven't worked.
So if you've tried talking to HR, tried mediation, and still nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If those internal things don't work and you truly believe there's been a violation of your rights under the ADA, then you might consider going to the EEOC or a labor board.
So it's like, if all else fails, there's still recourse. That's reassuring.
It's a last resort. And honestly, a lot of cases get resolved before it gets to that point.
Phew. That's good to hear. It's easy to get caught up in all the legal stuff and forget that the point is to, find a solution. But beyond the legal side, what really struck me in this article was how much it emphasized the listener's, well, worth as a person.
Yeah, I loved that part.
It wasn't just about rules and procedures. It was like, hey, you have value regardless of your job.
Exactly. And that goes back to why people get so anxious about disclosing in the first place.
Hmm.
If you're always worried about losing your job just for being you, it's tough to, like, focus on your work, you
It's
know?
like that fear takes up so much space in your head.
Exactly. But if you understand your rights, advocate for yourself, and know what resources are out there, you can go to work more confident, more focused on what you bring to the table.
Right. Like the whole point of having a job is to contribute. But, this is making me think. The article's all about what to do after disclosing. But what about before?
Ooh, interesting. You're thinking about being proactive.
Yeah, like, what if instead of reacting to problems, we get ahead of it? Like, what about finding those companies that are already known for being inclusive? Supportive of neurodiversity.
Now you're talking. It's not just about fixing things after they break.
Right.
It's about creating environments where everyone feels good about being themselves right from the start.
And that's good for everyone, right? Not just people with disabilities.
100%. When you have a workplace that values different perspectives, everybody wins.
Love it. Okay, so to our listener today and anyone else who's been in that tough spot, remember, you're not alone and things are changing. There are organizations out there pushing for more inclusive workplaces.
That's right. Keep learning, keep advocating for yourself, and never forget how much you bring to the table.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, we're wrapping up this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious and keep those conversations going.